You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Michael, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, this is the illustrious Michael K. Easton.
My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
I missed you guys.
Welcome back. How was 90s night?
I'm sorry, I forgot. My name is Cliff Clavin. That was I laughed very, very hard when I listened back to that. Thank you guys. It made me feel loved or something.
We'll settle the bet. Did the DJ play things that make you go,
If he did, by that time I had too many shots of tequila to tell you if he did or not.
Did you sleep in the bathtub that night?
I did not. I did, however, sleep in the spare bedroom.
Or in the basement.
Yes, that is true. And in my defense, I was fine till I ran into and we were drinking tequila at Adelphia, and then they shut down, and unfortunately we went to the locker room where next thing I know, he was coming over there, feeding me shots of this and that, and
you went to the knife and gun
whatever.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. And my poor wife pulled up outside to see me basically passed out on a bench over by the Lafayette Hotel. It's great.
Trying to mail something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He tried to fit through that mail slot they got in the door.
His arm in the slot.
Well, he was holding me up.
I gotta deliver this.
That's no delivery.
Hey, as long as it was only his arm he was sticking through that slot, we're okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
You're not 22 anymore.
That's what I learned that night.
So go ahead, Seth. Tell us all about what's going on with Disney.
So much baggage behind that statement. You're like,
get it out of the way.
That was like a challenge.
Yeah, let's just hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, earlier I was thinking, I was like, these guys probably think I'm like bipolar when I talk about Disney. So I'm like, oh yeah, I love all the movies and I'm buying all these Omnis, and then the next day I'm like, look at these people trying to, how dare you with Scarlett Johansson, and look, I made an official complaint about the font on my Omni spine. And then today I'm like, hey, let's take a VIP trip to Disney. I'm all over the place. I need to get it together.
I can relate. We were just my wife and I were just talking tonight about some stuff and we constantly kind of half joke about, one of these days when we move to Florida, and so we were having a conversation about that, and she had been listening to another podcast during the day, a Disney centric podcast, and I was talking about, it's so hard because I love the park so much, but when that yucky corporate stuff gets mixed in, it just, oh man, it's such a buzzkill.
Yeah.
Sucks the magic right out, doesn't it?
It does. They have that new CEO, Bob Iger's out the door, and Chapek, it's Chapek's world now, and just the decisions the company is making now are just so unadulterated, moneymaker to hell with the guest experience, and it's saddening. They're trying to alienate folks that that have been consumers of their product, that love that company and have such fond memories of whether it's in the parks or taking your kids to see movies or watching the movies at home and buying them and whatever it is. And just, it feels like they're just tossing you to the side because, hey, let's get some, for every million of you people, all we need is 1,000 rich people because they'll spend more money. And it's just, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's becoming so corporate in the parks. Parks used to be for a long time, were got hit less on that take from your guest and never give anything back. At least, prices always went up, but we always felt like there was something new. There was something new to see, something new to do. There was something, it was a give and take almost, or at least I like to think so. And it's here in the last year, and I get it, pandemic and whatnot, but they're still making profits. We know that. We see their quarterly earnings, and it's just become this take, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, they start off with so much. They have so much just given goodwill because of the properties they own.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like so many people are fans of them just because of everything they own, and like you give them so much leash.
Yeah, leeway.
And they just waste it.
Yeah.
They waste it. Well, anyway, I still love all their stuff, and get it together. I just hated that statement.
Yeah.
They're trying to act like how dare Scarlett Johansson want the money she is due, and during a pandemic, vilifying her like that was the trashiest statement. I couldn't believe it.
I haven't read anything on this. It was about in her contract, like I assume she gets a percentage of ticket sales or whatever. Is that the idea? And since they put it on streaming, she lost revenue. Is that the basic idea?
Yeah, and other stars got deals when this started, like Gal Gadot and people like that, got deals because of that, where they give them, well, here's 10 million or 20 million because of that. And they negotiate a deal. And she said she came to them before the pandemic. She came to them because Disney Plus was being created, and she knew this is a risk, or her lawyers did, and they said, hey, this is a risk that this could happen. Let's go ahead and make a deal now. And they said, we won't do anything without. I mean, she has emails where they say we won't do anything without renegotiating this contract, and then they never got back with her and did whatever they wanted. So they deserve to get fleeced on this.
I saw I saw a statement, something about, well, she's already made $20 million on it, and I'm like, and
they've made what?
Right, exactly.
Who don't count my money for me?
Exactly. And I saw something today. Somebody wrote an article and mentioned that there's speculation that Emma, Corella may do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
Emma Stone. So
yeah,
but it's that old argument. It's like with sports. I hear people, these millionaire players, and I'm like, what about the billionaire owners that
exactly?
Come on here.
So it's so weird when people take sides that way, and especially like you say, it's because they love Disney and they love they love Dumbo, so they're going to side with Disney rather than.
Why does Scarlett want Dumbo's money? He's not going to be able to afford to fly.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, whatever. That's not. I have no doubt she is going to win out in this because they're going to settle and want to stop all this talk.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to realize that was a crappy statement they made, and they're going to want to push this under the rug. I hope she gets the $50 million she's asking for. Anyway,
Marvel sued Gary Friedrich, the guy who created the modern Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
because he was making money selling sketches and prints at conventions. And then he was trying to get the rights to it. And Marvel sued him so hard he wasn't even allowed to sell prints at cons anymore. And
he owed them I think it was like $27,000 or something.
Yeah, so the guy, the elderly guy who couldn't, draw anymore,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't make a living. It could just to nip that in the bud of like, we're not going to have all these other co-creators come out of the woodwork wanting their rights to their characters.
Right.
So, yeah, if you think the corporations are going to do the right thing or the the honest thing, think again, because they'll do the most expedient thing.
Whenever you see behind the scenes, like Michael has always said, everybody's just faking it. That it's all just a bunch of people, idiots behind the scenes.
Smoke
I
and
was
mirrors, baby.
complaining about the omnibus, but I've been buying all these omnis, which I love. They're high quality, and I found it's this great way to read these old comics
and look so nice lined up on a shelf.
Yeah,
most of the time.
And honestly, first off, this doesn't bother me as much as most of the people online, because for the most part, they're not all uniform. Everything's got a different font or whatever. But Marvel changed something recently, and a lot of people are in uproar because whatever you think the correct size is for the title and the spine, what they're doing now is the wrong size. Like, you can't even hardly see it. They've shrunk the font so small. Like, I got the volume 3 of Captain America, and I know they did it with Fantastic Four and a couple other things, and it's just like tiny lettering on there now.
Probably like the standard, like when you open up the program and put it on there, that's just what it is standard, and no one has like said, "Oh, I need to make this bigger."
Well, they send it to, if it's the right font, yeah, it's just the wrong size, but they don't always use the same printer. And I just assumed it was a print, whoever did it, it was a mistake there. And that, I don't care if they fix it or not, just don't do it in the future. But they won't just admit there's anything wrong. They're saying that they did it. That's the new way they're going to do it, because they're making room for the art at the bottom, which is like,
that makes no sense.
There's
at
like
all.
nothing. There's like the same little nothing at the bottom. It's a lie, is what it is. It's like they can't just admit it. And it's so freaking annoying. That's what makes me mad. So yeah, I messaged them. They've got back to me a couple times. They're trying to figure out exactly what to do or whatever. I was like, well, you need to. So I was like, I want a new freaking dust jacket, and you need to not do this anymore. I don't expect any of that. I just want to make people know I didn't like it. Otherwise, they just keep doing whatever they want.
And I'm, from a design point of view, I'm going to say it's on Marvel's end, not the printer, because they had to design that and they sent it to the printer. The printer sent them back a proof, and they checked off on it.
Yeah, that's what I mean by people aren't behind the scenes, don't know what they're doing, because I totally believe that, and Marvel was just like, yeah, whatever. Whoever's doing it, just like, that one guy who's, I'm busy. Looks great. They've all been fine so far.
Yep.
Anyway, not the end of the world.
The right font, but I got the wrong size. Must have been the wrong font.
But there is positive comic news out there, and that's what this episode's really about.
This is our annual look at Free Comic Book Day. A little bit later than normal. It's typically the first Saturday in May. Because of global circumstances, it was pushed into August to try to make things a little safer, which ironically, I feel things are worse now than they were in May, perhaps.
Yeah, I believe that.
Probably should have just
coming
done
back
that.
out.
Yeah, but who can predict anything anymore? So I haven't received the books yet.
Uh-oh.
I got an email from Diamond first this week, said they'll ship by the end of the week, and then I just got an email today. Yeah, they didn't ship by the end of the week. We're short-staffed. But you'll get them by the end of next week for sure.
Shizzle.
So hopefully,
what is Free Comic Book Day without any free comic books?
Yeah, let's see if everybody gets their books. But normally, I've had them for a while. I've gotten to read them and tease little spoilers and stuff. So I don't have any inside info this time. So sorry.
Are they still like gold, silver?
Yes. So I'll just run down real quick what you can expect from your local shop. This is, if you've never been to one, it's a worldwide thing. Any shop that participates will have 12 gold sponsors. So every store will have at least these 12 they have to order to participate. And then there are a whole bunch of silver level sponsors. So just depending on the size of your store and how many they get. And then a lot of stores put out books from years ago. So there's going to be a mix of stuff. Some stores put out things they haven't sold and just give them away. So you never know what you'll find, but you'll at least get these 12. And it's just a fun day. It's a way to invite the community in to see what you have, to get kids to stop in. So it's a great day of promotion for most of your friendly local comic stores. So Saturday, August 14th, 12 golds. Archie always has one. This one is Archie Past, Present, and Future Fun. So that's
Big fun.
Big fun. It's the 80th anniversary of Archie, and they're like celebrating his evolution as a character. So it's a Crisis on Infinite Archies. So there's like the old school Silver Age Archie. There's every version of Archie. The horror, Afterlife with Archie. The TV.
Did
Archie.
I hear Crisis?
Yeah, I was just like picturing Archie holding a dead Betty.
Yeah.
Why is it going to be Betty? Why can't it be Veronica?
Tokyo Pop is putting out an Assassin's Creed book. A sneak peek at 2 different comic titles from the video game series Dynasty and Valhalla Blood Brothers. So you'll get 2 separate stories in that one. Titan Comics has a Blade Runner issue, which they've been putting out Blade Runner comics the last couple years. There's a Blade Runner Origins, which is pre the original film, and then there's Blade Runner 2029, which is post. And this issue connects those 2 series for the first time. So it's going to be new content tying their 2 separate books together. Dark Horse has a double title with a story from Critical Role, the RPG folks, and The Witcher, the video game turned Netflix series. Mm-hmm. So that's 2 of their bigger properties from Dark Horse. Boom Comics has Enter the House of Slaughter, which is a spinoff of Something is Killing the Children by James Tynion IV. That's one of the bigger hits of recent years, this horror title about Erica Slaughter, who is a monster hunter who can see these monsters that are killing kids that no one else can see. So they're going to spin that off to her own sort of like her origin and other monster hunters that are involved in this. First Second Comics, as the All Ages imprint, has a new Investigators, which are these the alligator super spies. It's a preview of Volume 4 of that. Image has Lady Mechanica, which has been around a while. The story is a Victorian steampunk story by Joe Benitez, which was published through a different publisher, but now it's with Image. So they're going to start reprinting all his previous work and some new stuff. So this is kind of the origin story and a sample if you've never read any Lady Mechanica. IDW's has a Star Wars High Republic Adventures. So this is the new storyline set during the glory days of the Republic that we haven't seen in any other content before. So this issue is a prelude to the current series that's going on. Aftershock Comics has a book called We Live: The Last Days. So it's about a group of kids. It's like the end of the world, but there are these life-saving bracelets, but only certain people have them, and they're people will kill for them, and they're traded on the black market and all this stuff. So it's a group of kids trying to survive the post-apocalypse. Penguin Workshop has a book called Who Sparked the Montgomery Bus Boycott, which is a little history story about Rosa Parks, so some nonfiction. And Viz, the manga publisher, has Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead, which would be a good Fake Noodles title, but that one's real. It is a zombie outbreak, and a guy who has a very mundane life has decided he wants to check off 100 items from his bucket list before the zombies take over the whole world. So, and then last of the 12 gold sponsors, Marvel's Avengers and Hulk. It's going to be original material from Donny Cates and Ryan Otley, who are taking over the Hulk book, and Jason Aaron and Eben Coelho are on Avengers. And it says, in a land beyond time, a shining tower stands, deploying its operatives across the multiverse to hold against the encroaching darkness. Who is the mysterious Avenger Prime, and how will his advent impact on the past, the present, and the very future of the mighty Avengers? So normally I could tell you, but I'm just as in the dark. I have no idea. But that sounds exciting. So those are the golds. Silvers are going to have a lot of other stuff. Marvel has a second one, Spider-Man Venom dual title with some original material. And there's a ton of stuff. Sonic the Hedgehog, Smurfs, Trailer Park Boys, Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, Judge Dredd. So there's going to be plenty to pick from. FreeComicBookDay.com has the full list of all the books. If you notice, I didn't say any DC books because DC is not technically involved anymore. This is a Diamond thing.
Yeah.
But DC is now with a new distributor, but they're putting out 4 books anyway. They won't be the official. They won't have the official Free Comic Day logo on them or anything, but they're also putting out books. A Batman. It's a preview of the upcoming Fear State crossover, and I Am Batman, which is the new Jace Fox, Lucius Fox's kid, as the future Batman. So you're going to get first looks at both those. They're doing a Suicide Squad King Shark original solo story, because this will be Suicide Squad will come out a week before this, so that should be hot at the moment.
Does it say who's doing that book?
That is Tim Seeley and Scott Collins.
Ha-ha! I might have mentioned him earlier before we started.
Your buddy Scott Collins. And that'll have a preview of the upcoming Suicide Squad Get Joker miniseries. And then a couple for younger readers, Teen Titans Beast Boy Loves Raven. That'll be a sample of the upcoming graphic novel. For middle grade readers. And then for young readers, there's a flip book, Batman and Robin and Howard, which is a story about Robin messing up and Batman sends him to school to live like a normal kid. And there's there's another kid at school who excels at sports and academics, and Robin and he get into a rivalry. And that's a flip book with Amethyst, Princess of Gem World. They're bringing that back for younger readers. So those are the 4 from DC. And one more twist this year. We have a presenting sponsor. I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty spiffy. Well, this year's presenting sponsor is Coca-Cola. And they call themselves the Fan of Fans. Coke is a fan of people being fans. And they're going to treat customers to, quote, a unique, unexpected digital experience they'll remember for years to come. So they're promising big. Sending
download our app.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're sending every store a 16 by 24 inch poster that has an augmented reality trigger you can interact with. That
Through
opens
your phone.
right through
QR
your phone.
code.
Basically, so it opens an art gallery of larger than life illustrations, quote, inspired by comics, gaming culture, otaku obsession, community, and of course, Coca-Cola.
And hosted by Max Headroom.
Did you say?
Don't say the P word.
Did you say taco obsession?
Otaku, as in the Japanese word
Oh,
for
see, I was
fanboy,
with them for a minute. I like
anime
tacos. Oh, I do like tacos.
They go good with Coke. But at the end of the gallery will be a digital prize wheel where random winners will be awarded prizes from Coke. So you don't have prizes won't be in the store. You'll have to give them your name and address.
Let's
But
be
it says-
very clear.
I
Prizes
was
will
already
not
playing
be
a
in the
Mission
store.
I was a comic book Eve Mission Impossible style break-in to get the Coca-Cola prizes. It's off now.
Yeah, you got to mail away for them, or those. I'm sure there'll be digital coupons and things. But yeah, so Coke is taking care of all that. They're giving the prizes away, so I thought that was cool. So thank you to my presenting sponsor. You've done good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in Marietta here at Asylum. We're not going to blow it up as big as we normally try to do. We're not going to have any of the face-to-face things, the face painting, people in costume, kneeling down and posing with people. We're just going to try to keep it all socially distanced. We will have a back room full of local artists. They should be 6 feet apart. Hopefully, we've got room to do all that. So we've got several local creators going to be showing off their creations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to one of them just the other day, and he mentioned he had been down at the Jim Russ, who's been a guest on the show a couple times, but he went to Gym City Con and making his rounds and said he was going to be down there at your store, I believe. So
Yep. And we'll have sales on merchandise, and then we're doing our typical food drive for the Tri-County Food Pantry. So we give away 2 free comics everywhere that shows up, or if you donate $1 or a non-perishable food item, you can take home some extra comics. So we'll try to keep it as normal as possible, but not quite doing everything we always do. But yeah, wherever you are in the world, you can go to freecomicday.com, find a participating store, and go out and get some free comics. Take the kids.
I tried to throw a wrench in Jordan's free comic book day plans. I bought a bunch of baseball tickets, so for Reds and Indians, and I think I stressed him out for a minute. He's like, I have to set up a whole thing.
I've got to augment my reality. Hold on.
We got to see Joey Votto hit his 14th or 20th home run in a row.
Keep that
They play
streak
tonight?
alive. They are playing right now. Yes.
Are you taping it or anything?
I watched the first 4 innings. So he hadn't hit one yet, but I'm recording the rest.
Noted. So,
yeah, that'll be a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Michael, we didn't invite you because you don't like sports ball.
What?
Exactly.
Who?
Nothing.
Yeah. Guardians?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that for a second, quickly.
We are a city on the rise, forging into the future from our ironed-out past. We are a city of fire and water, of trees and towers, built through generations of blue collars and the brightest scholars, and all of those who have worked harder. We hold tight to our roots and set our sights on tomorrow. And this is our team that has stood with our city for more than a century, from Old Municipal to the corner of Carnegie. A team that has seen its own progress and prosperity. Its history flows like the river through the heart of this city. A history that has given us miraculous moments. Moments that spanned years and others 22 games. Moments that broke barriers and moments that broke hearts. Moments that prove this is more than a game. We remember those moments as we move forward with change. You see, it has always been Cleveland. That's the best part of our name.
Funny thing is, we've known this was going to happen for well over a year now. It's been the talk of Cleveland, but we just happen to live, a lot south. And I don't know about you, but everybody I knew on my social media absolutely lost their minds. Like they had no idea this was coming, and how dare they, and all this stuff. And I was just like, what is the big deal?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they all got a post like they just so upset about it. Like, really? I'm okay with changing the name from where.
Hey, you know what?
Columbus thought he was somewhere else, so that's what we're calling our team.
Right, exactly. And as two people, as Cleveland sports fans, it's not like they're moving nobody stole the team. They're not moving. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you think you would have a scale for this of how you should.
Exactly. We've been through a lot worse. So we don't have to go 3 years without a team and then, a guaranteed 20 years of losing after that. They didn't change the colors. There's not a huge logo change per se. They
only changed 2 letters.
They only changed.
They got rid of the first 2 letters and then
so
Cuar.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it took a lot of people by surprise, and it did me. We all know they retired Wahoo several years ago.
I don't know. They've still been selling stuff with that,
because of the uproar.
Big toothed thing. Yeah.
I did read it into this, and they've been trying to change the name since the 1970s.
Right, they've been petitioning forever. It's just none of these people ever cared or pay attention because they didn't think that any headway would be made. But now we're in a different world where there's actually a chance of correcting some of these snafus.
Right.
I thought, it wasn't my first pick, but it grew on me very quickly, and I like I've said before, I like the ties to the city. And anybody that doesn't understand the ties to the city, please look up what the Guardians are.
The Guardians of Traffic.
Yeah, or I've heard it called that, or the Guardians of Transportation.
Yeah,
but they're an Art Deco statues that are eight of them on that bridge right by the stadium.
Yeah, as
which is very tied into the city. They were built before. They would have never been built if it happened a couple years later, because then there was a Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you remember when LeBron left, if you remember the giant banner poster on the building next to where the Cavaliers play, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, whatever they call it now, it used to be the Q. Used to be Gund Arena. But if that giant Nike witness that used to be on the whole entire side of the building, when LeBron went away, what did they replace that with? A giant black and white poster of the Guardians.
Yeah.
I think a part of it is I honestly, just from what I've observed myself, I don't think it was that big of a deal in the immediate Cleveland area, because they all were much more aware of this is coming. They had been debating on radio shows for months and months and months. Is it going to be this team? I like this name. I don't like that name. Call us in. Give us your opinion. Everybody there was aware that it was coming.
Yeah, I remember last year when they were named, what were people that had kind of voted and stuff. That I remember Guardians being in the top 3.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by that being one of the
right. So I think it was more an outcry from other areas other than Cleveland.
Yeah.
And just giving a topic for people to go, well, how dare they? They're PC and their cancel culture and all, just the same old crap with a different subject in the headlines.
And there's an immediate knee-jerk reaction like that to anything they feel is caving to PC culture or whatever. But then there's also that idea of I've watched this team for 60 years and it's my team, and I have T-shirts with a name on it, and posters and signed baseballs.
Tattoos. There's a different timeline where I have Indians written down my arm. Right. I came real close one time.
Well, wait till
I get that initial sadness or frustration or whatever. But I would think we could all, discuss and come to a happy conclusion.
Yeah, the biggest thing shared, is shared this, the the player that was I'm under the understanding that he was the first Native American player in the major leagues.
That's
is that true,
the narrative. Cliff? I'm not sure how true that is.
Because I was actually doing research based off of what people were saying online, and that's more of like speaking of PC, but the PC version of why they picked that name.
Right. That's
because
I'm willing to accept. Let's say that's the story. Let's go with the best version of the story. He's the first Native American. He's on the team, and no version of the story doesn't have him being racially ridiculed by fans and other teams and calling him an Indian, calling them the Indians and all this stuff. And so in the best version of the story, they say we are all Indians and call the team that. Okay, if you want to go with that, and I like that. That's fine, but it doesn't hold up. That was a racially.
It's the
racial term that they were calling him. It was an insult, and that doesn't mean you name your team after it. But It was a different time. I get that. I'm saying, and probably my number one pick for what I would have liked them to name this team is some version of his name. If you want to stick to this type of thing, then dedicate it to this guy if this is a real thing.
Yeah.
And don't use that racial name.
Right.
I said Jordan, his name has socks in the name. We could be another socks team, but have actual meaning to it.
Well, and that was a popular choice, making its rounds when they were talking, as the public was discussing and debating different names. I heard blue socks over and over and over again. I also heard, we heard Spiders because there was a professional team at one time in Cleveland,
right.
Called the Spiders.
I like that. That was my number 2.
It could have went back to like the Naps.
Well, there was a popular option would have been people wanted to call them the Cleveland Buckeyes because there was a Negro League team called the Cleveland Buckeyes.
That's just too confusing.
Yeah, it didn't sound right in the ear to me.
No.
Guardians was also up there. I had heard, I was big at the time when they were talking about it. I was big on there was a suggestion of like walleyes because of Lake Erie and being right on the lake.
Oh, I don't like that.
And I thought, well, see, I kind of like that. I was like, well, that's completely different.
That sounds goofy. But I would get used to anything. I'm going to get used to, it took me about a couple hours to get used to Guardians. I think they'll end up calling, it'll get some nickname. They'll call them the Guards or something and all this, and they'll get a better logo. And as we go on, things will change.
There was an immediate petition to get for the Cleveland baseball team to use Groot, Marvel's Groot, as the new mascot.
What James Gunn said I hope the mascot's a raccoon with a machine gun.
yeah.
But anyway, I do think there was one tweet that I really liked, and I shared it with you guys. I don't know the guy, and I don't know all his, every stance he has on anything, so I'm not even going to share who said it. But I like the way he put it. He said, if you wanted to make a city in which every mundane aspect of life was lived in the most Jack Kirby way imaginable, you'd start by erecting giant statues called the Guardians of Traffic and having them look like this. And he shared the pictures of them. Yeah. And he says, and then you'd name the city's baseball team after them. And I was like, that was perfect. Because that's a comic story. That's a Kirby comic story somewhere. There's some fake city with these statues and the baseball team's named that and all this, it was just well said. I was like, that made me feel really good about it. So
hey, wait till this crowd of the haters and the criticizers, wait till they realize that the Cleveland Browns are named after a former coach,
right,
who was fired by the team and family has ever since hated that organization and wants nothing to do with the Cleveland Browns. If that ever comes to the day that they rename that team, because the family says, hey, this is our name. We don't want our legacy in Cleveland. You know, we own the Bengals. They're absolutely going to lose their minds.
I believe that. Yeah. I just thought it's funny. Everybody's been bugging me. What do you think of that name? Oh, it's so boring. I was like, it's no Metropolitans. Or any other number of any, or it's no color, it's no pair of footwear. All of these things are going to sound weird at first, and you're going to get used to them. And so I think it's just fine. And I like that it's not. Yeah, it can sound like a high school team name or whatever, but the fact that it has ties to the city and can be explained so easily, I really like it, and I'm happy about it. Glad it's happening. We got it out of our system.
Woo! Well, if we're talking controversy, I could throw this out there. About
I wonder if you're going to bring up what I was just thinking. Something about cancel culture in the UK.
No.
Oh. It's comic related. Well, I'll throw mine out real quick because probably no one else knows what it is.
Okay.
Frank Miller, I just saw the highlights of it. Something about Twitter got his appearance at a UK con canceled. I don't know the specifics behind it.
Had something to do with Islamophobia.
Okay.
I don't know which side he commented on. I couldn't tell you, but I saw a headline.
I could guess.
I can tell by your expression. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Now the big dust up. This was a couple weeks ago. On Fox News, had a chyron beneath and the screen said, "Marvel under fire for politicizing Captain America." Which people immediately said the guy who wears a flag is being politicized. Wow.
How strange.
But yeah, so this, not to pick on Fox, but they're the ones who took the story and ran with it and had several segments about it. This United States of Captain America #1, the first issue, written by Christopher Cantwell, drawn by Dale Eaglesham. Basically, Captain America said the American dream isn't real, is their take on it. And it starts out with a long monologue by Captain America, and it's really complex, and there's a lot to think about in it. I actually, before all that, when I first read it, I went back and reread it because I'm like, do I even understand what he's trying to say here? I went and read it twice. But the people who didn't read it at all got really angry about it. So somewhere in between those two, you can make up your own mind. But it starts out, he quotes, "I'm loyal to nothing except the dream," the famous Frank Miller line from the famous Daredevil story. He's like, "I said that once. I'm loyal to nothing except the dream." Here's the thing about a dream, though. A dream isn't real. So that was the caption a lot of them took a picture of and showed.
Yeah.
When we wake up, it goes away, and we're left with this yearning inside, like something was taken from us. At least that's one kind of dream. But lately, I'm starting to think America actually has two dreams and one lie. The first American dream is the one that isn't real. It's the one some people expect just to be handed to them. And then they get angry when it disappears, when the truth is it never really existed in the first place. So it goes on for a couple more pages, but that's the gist of it. And that idea where he says that perfect dream, that nostalgia that we have, that Americana that we love, how that can so easily be twisted into something worse, like nationalism and jingoism. And you want that dream to only benefit select people. But that's not what the American dream is. It says the white picket fence became a gate to keep other people out. A good dream is shared. When something isn't shared, it can become the American lie. So that's the idea of, like, how dare we say America hasn't always been perfect. People lost their mind, including Dean Cain, who rushed to Fox News to complain about it. And this comedian I'd never heard of, Michael Loftus.
I don't know.
So I don't know who that is, but yeah, that idea of Captain Woke and Marvel hates America and all that. Just instead of a nuanced conversation about what that might mean, or any understanding of Captain America and his beliefs and how he isn't just a flag waving, super patriot.
I got to say, I'm so proud of how consistently they have portrayed that character over my lifetime. Like, as my favorite, fictional character, really, to have consistently always had that type of, values that may confuse these other people as not what they thought they grew up with, but it was always like that.
Yeah.
Makes me happy it's still going on.
And in the book, there's a couple panels where he says he realizes his iconography can be used for evil, and can be taken the wrong way, and people can just use it as rah rah America, love it or leave it. But he's still striving for something better. But yeah, I was reading the transcript from the appearance, and this was the end of the lone hero. I think Dean Cain said that, and so long to America's rugged individualism that we all love. I was like, are you talking about Captain America, the guy created in a government lab by government scientists for Americans' military? That's the lone rugged individual. He was created by the government using taxpayer funds.
Soldier, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, from his first appearance, America was not even in the war, and Captain America was punching Hitler, and all of a sudden he's being politicized. We're so worried about that.
Oh my God.
But I had some notes. It must be from January, but we never quite got to it, or I didn't want to get into it. But I'll just dovetail those into these about how many comic characters were represented on January 6th of the Capitol riot, and how that got a lot of talking in the fan media.
I was going to say something. I don't know if this is one of them, but about the Punisher logo being adopted by so many policemen and what that really means.
The Proud Boys, the famous zip tie guy had the Punisher skull logo with a flag on it. So it was everywhere. And Punisher hasn't really been around. They haven't had a Punisher comic in a couple of years now. They've just kind of sidelined him. And the last time he showed up was at Heroes Reborn, and it was an alternate reality, but he was wearing body armor with no logo on it. It was just two-toned body armor. So is Marvel stepping back from that logo? Have they taken it from them? Basically, is it too toxic to use?
Yeah,
that's an interesting step to do that.
Yeah. So
I'm actually blown away, because I was wondering how they were going to handle it. They can't. I don't know how you ever get it back.
Right.
Make them stop using it, and you don't want them to, enjoy this character wearing what they're wearing. So to actually not have him wear it is amazing.
And they're all merchandising it. All the websites of these groups.
Right.
You can buy stickers and T-shirts with a copyrighted logo. And John Bernthal, who played the Punisher, Jerry Conway, who co-created him, and Garth Ennis, who had one of the longest runs on it, have all commented asking, why isn't Disney suing these places and getting this stuff taken down?
Yeah, absolutely. And because when as you were talking, I had that thought, even the Hulu series, they barely used, from what I watched of that Punisher show, a couple years ago, or however long that has been now, they barely used that logo in it.
It was Netflix, wasn't it?
Or Netflix. Yeah, sorry.
Netflix.
Yes, Netflix.
I don't think you watched enough of it.
You're probably right. I think I only watched season 1.
It was excellent, and he wore that skull prominently in season 2.
Did he have the white boots? If he didn't have the white boots,
no, he didn't have the white boots. But that was one show. I'm going on a tangent here, but that was one show I did not expect to dig or be into, and I freaking loved every episode. It was really good.
It was nuanced, and it wasn't just Punisher kill bad guy. It was a guy struggling with his choices and with his history.
Well, I mean,
it was argument we're not it was a kind of complexity we're not having at the moment.
It delves so much into the military and PTSD. Did I say that right?
Hashtag
PTSD.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey,
Anyway.
that's my favorite one. That and Weather.
But
Whether you like it or not.
it's been picked
No,
up by all
that makes it good. I miss it. You don't do it enough.
Yeah, we need more of that. But yeah, that logo and variations of it have I see them constantly on people's cars and trucks and stuff, and
especially with like the flagger laid over top of it,
Yeah,
and the one
and
blue bar.
yeah, it's just let's fetishize guns and killing, and that they think that's what
he represents, and that's it's like they have a real
Right.
Go
problem
read a
with
comic.
nuance. They don't get Cap or Punisher, and that's a problem.
Well,
Well,
I
that's the
don't
other
think
thing-
they do much reading of anything, guys. You're
I like
asking
the
a
flag.
lot.
Constitution.
I like the flag and skulls.
But that's the other thing. There were several images from the Capitol that day of people with Captain America gear. Some people had like homemade shields. I saw
Yeah.
the logo on T-shirts. So one guy was like wearing a store-bought costume of Captain America. Them thinking that that's patriotism what they did. And Neil Kirby, is that Jack's son or grandson, came out and said, I don't remember.
I think that's his son.
I do too.
So So right after this happened, someone asked him for a comment and said Captain America was created by two Jewish guys who hated Nazis and hated bullies and stood up for the underdog. So if you don't know anything else about Captain America, that should be enough. They stand up. He stands up for the underdog. So
Yeah.
the
And let's call them what
politicization of this.
Yeah, let's call them what they were. If you want to call them insurrectionist or domestic terrorist or whatever, but yeah, that's what they are.
I'm fine making this the Captain America podcast. We could just talk about it all the time.
Let's make our fonts real tiny.
Yeah, you got to make it the tiniest, like you can't even see it.
I got some 4 more Omnis I think I got to buy this month, so I'm paying by the size of the letters.
We'll end on a little bit better news. DC is launching My First Comics program at 500 different Walmarts and Walmart.com. This is a line of books aimed at young readers ages 5 to 9. 48-page flip books featuring the top DC characters for $4.97, with added activity pages, mazes, puzzles, matching games, etc. So DC tried this a while back.
Yeah.
And it didn't go so hot with making hard to find collectible comics. So now they're going to try kid-friendly stuff. The first one, it reprints some Batman adventure stories based on the animated series, and the second issue is going to be all new material tied to Space Jam: A New Legacy. So they're going to be very kid-friendly and hopefully easy to find in the Walmart book section.
Yeah, they can fill up all the empty toy aisles with those comic books.
Well, we did it.
Yay.
I would say we more than did it on that episode.
We did it to death.
We went left, we went right.
All right.
North, south.
Get us out of here, Michael.
Happy Free Comic Book Day, everybody.
I'm the most Adelphian, Cliff Clavin, Mr. Easton, blah, 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 blah.
Well thought.
He's the tickiest, talkiest content creator.
Garlic snorting, rootin' tootin' son of a bee-ball.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Jordan Left.
Cliff Barnes.
So, goodbye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, please sign up to be a patron through the Podbean app or our website, www.udownwithkpp.com, to receive special content and early access to some episodes. We are grateful to anyone that chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will always remain free, so please continue to like, comment, and share. Can you guys...
My sinuses have been horrible. I felt like shit all week.
Have you seen that on TikTok where they tell you to put a clove of garlic up each nostril?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you need to look it up.
So why?
Okay, so these people they've had sinus issues, and they cut up a clove or a thing of garlic and take one clove and put it up each nostril and just leave it.
How strong that is!
I know, but
insane.
It's nasty. Like they leave it in there until it starts to drain out, and then take them out. And I mean, it just drains all your sinuses. It's gross.
That would hurt.
Yeah, it's something. But they're like, "Oh my god, I could breathe again."
I can breathe. I'm just having a lot of sinus pressure, and anytime my sinuses mess up, like it's almost like I feel like I just feel like flu-like constantly.
Is it like behind your eyes, right in the center?
Right here.
I think you should try that garlic thing. I want to.
Yeah. I should probably do
that
it live.
That is so you, though. I'm surprised you're not jumping all over that. That is totally.
Make sure you have Christy record it and put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'll do it first, and then a couple years later, everyone else will do it.
Do it as Ronald P. Tramp.
Oh, that would be.
Oh, they told me to put this up my nose. Do it.
Ooh, buddy.
I'd almost do that.
Why do you want me to do this?
Man, Pompey just told me it would be good for my sinuses, man.
That is why we do this.
So we just wrote a whole thing. Now you just have to do it.
Post it on TikTok.
That's it.
Ronald P. Tramp should have a TikTok. I would get a TikTok. I would download the app.
Yeah.
If Ronald P. Tramp had one, he was doing shit like that. If he was doing, that would be awesome. If you were like, go in there as him and do all these things that these people are saying.
Crazy things.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
Well, here we go.
That's it. And it's like, that is the perfect application for it. Because
it is.
Just 1 minute at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it.
I love it.